Hey, how you doing? Austin here. In this video, we're going to be talking about Bionano Genomics. This is some breaking news having to do with them on two fronts. Number one, a large country has officially adopted them as a key technology to use, as well as their Bionano system is looking like it is able to be a really strong chemotherapy research tool that could help revolutionize that space as well. So we've got two really important pieces of information that have come out recently related to Bionano. That's what I wanted to bring to you. So that's what those videos about. Ultimately, the stock is going to react well. In fact, this morning I looked at it. The stock is already up, definitely. We'll look at the chart as well. So that's what we're going to cover today. As always, in this video is for entertainment purposes only. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on this video if you would. It helps me and helps the channel out. If you get value out of it, I would greatly appreciate it. So let's go take a look at what is going on with Bionano Genomics. Here we go. So as you can see from the chart, Bionano is up 3.49% today. Let's look at a 5-day. We have absolutely just been trending really nicely. And a 1-month chart again shows, basically we had the downward cycle and now we're coming back really nicely. 6-month, I really like this. We've got a major nice trend line up here. We're up 20% in the last 7 days or so. So that's looking really good. As I always point out in some of these stocks here, you've got a major market correction that happened here where the NASDAQ dropped about 1,000 points. And this right in here is another little correction that happened. So we've got a nice uptick looking like we're moving in the right direction. I'm extremely bullish on this stock long term. I think these guys are doing some amazing things. And this piece of news and information that I have for you today really, frankly, solidifies that and puts it in perspective that Bionano's SAFR system is a game changer in the relative markets that it plays in. And so it's just a major technology that is going to really, frankly, change a lot of people's lives. So what we're going to look at real quickly is Bionano has inked a deal with the UK. Ultimately, I think that that's going to really dramatically positively influence the stock. This is a major catalyst that I think that we're going to be able to ride for quite a while for the BNGO stock to ride it up. I mean, this is a major piece of news. Okay, so the deal was with the UK's National Health Service, and frankly, it validates the SAFR system and puts it on the road to becoming a global powerhouse. I agree with that statement unequivocally. Okay, so the recent deal with the NHS, basically, they are going to use SAFR to detect variations in DNA. More importantly, the agreement is very likely to be a proverbial game changer for the company and BNGO stock. We just mentioned that. Sorry, allergies. Excuse me. Usually by late April, I'm starting to get out of them, but they're still here, the allergies. And finally, this is another thing. We're going to talk about this as well. So we're going to talk about the UK NHS deal, and we're also going to talk about the fact that that recently announced an innovation enabled by SAFR that could help scientists to help develop much more tolerable chemotherapy drugs. That's a big deal, okay, frankly. And so I've had some friends actually just recently go through chemo and seeing, the impact that the chemotherapy drugs, although they're helping, they just are very harsh, and they really, again, we all know that chemo, everybody's different, but what I like about the fact that is it looks like they're looking, SAFR could be helping scientists develop much better drugs, frankly tolerable. I think the key word here is tolerable, that are better for the people taking them. They're just, better. Not as harsh is the word that keeps coming to mind. Tolerable. All right. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So under the deal, NHS, it has two large laboratories that are going to use SAFR through a rental agreement. Okay, so that's important to note. Bionano reported that as the deal, NHS has made a commitment to purchase consumables for SAFR over time. Okay, so basically what that means is, in addition to renting SAFR, the insurer has agreed to buy multiple products from Bionano that support the system. As a result, the deal should meaningfully boost Bionano's top and bottom lines in 2021 and for years to come. It's a year deal, and so they're renting it and they're buying, and so they're effectively kind of on a subscription model, if you will, via the rental, and they're purchasing consumables around the system that they have to use to be able to operate the system. So this is really, really good. Okay. So what they're going to basically be using the system for, they're renting Sapphire to research hematological cancers that affect the blood, bone, marrow, and lymph node nodes. Additionally, one of the labs will also evaluate Sapphire for the detection of structural variants, SVs, in patients with developmental delay, infertility, rare disease, and other genetic diseases. That's pretty impressive, okay? NHS's experts almost definitely evaluated Sapphire's capabilities and determined that there's an excellent chance that the system can produce breakthroughs in hematological cancers and many other diseases. So in that sentence, there's a real interesting point, right? The NHS is a globally recognized, very, very prominent organization, and the fact that they have invested in and they're coming online and using Sapphire is absolutely a rubber stamp of approval that will have ripple effects for years to come globally. What does that mean? That means that everybody's looking at them now in the education, and not in the education, excuse me, the medical community looking at Sapphire, and now we have this major stamp of approval that I guarantee you Bionano can now go out and use to get even more deals, right? I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. And not to mention that, you know, the medical community shares their data, shares their information to an extent, and so everybody now knows that, you know, that they're using the Sapphire system, and they can, and so you're going to see other major medical, you know, countries, things like that are maybe looking to start looking at either starting now evaluation of Sapphire, etc. So there's a lot of ripple effects here, guys, that I firmly believe will happen. Okay. So continuing on, kind of how they're leveraging this, Sapphire will enable diseases to be more effectively and more cheaply researched than competing products. That's a big, huge, massive statement. I mean, again, I've talked about this. Bionano is a disruptor from the standpoint of what their technology does. It disrupts the competitive landscape, okay? So this is disrupting the competitive landscape. Basically, other companies that kind of do similar things or maybe have technology, Sapphire is looking at like it can do it better, cheaper, and probably and maybe even faster, you know, than competing products, okay? So ultimately helping scientists and doctors more accurately determine which patients are more vulnerable to diseases, to illnesses. Again, NHS's decision to utilize Sapphire raises my confidence that can indeed perform these valuable functions. I agree with that. It raises my confidence as well. And again, I'm not a doctor of anything, but I think what I'm reading at a high level is that this is really, really a major stamp of approval. And I just said this, it will be a huge game changer. So, and I mentioned this already, there are other major English-speaking nations or Western European countries such as India, Pakistan, Singapore, Malaysia, Israel, obviously in the United States, Canada, Mexico, you name it. And not to mention other major European, Australia, all these other countries now will start to look at what has happened with this deal, and again, it's just a major push and boost to Sapphire and Bionano. Okay, so other nations will likely hear the news and look to utilize Sapphire as well. I've already mentioned that. Okay. So let's switch gears and look at the chemotherapy research tool. Okay, so Sapphire has enabled a scientist to much more effectively understand the DNA replication process, and that increased understanding may allow them to develop chemotherapy treatments with less intense side effects. Very, very cool. Consequently, assuming that Sapphire's ability to fill that role becomes well established over the longer term, the product will eventually become extremely valuable in the aid of making better chemotherapy drugs. So again, a scenario here is that this is kind of breaking news coming out. So now what you have is you'll start to have other companies that are in the chemotherapy, that are making chemotherapy drug space, looking to potentially utilize Sapphire as well. So we might be starting to see even more catalyst coming out around that, and we'll start to see even more traction across this role as well. And it's really cool because Again, it's just positive. So we're gonna get in addition to the NHS leveraging the technology. It looks like we're now starting to get traction in the chemotherapy cancer side of the house. And we can start to see some major traction there. Okay, so the NHS deal basically has established Saffir as a highly reputable, widely used tool. I agree. Meanwhile, the product could very well be on the road becoming a key means of developing much more tolerable chemotherapy treatment. That in turn would make Saffir extremely valuable. I concur. Okay, so again, I've already mentioned this. The technology is hugely disruptive, and at a $1.72 billion market cap, for BNGO stock is minuscule in light of the company's great potential. As a result, I recommend that investors buy the company shares. Again, do your own due diligence, right? Do your own tech and fundamental analysis. But I totally agree with this, and I think that there is absolutely opportunity here with the stock currently trading at 646. It's actually up even higher now. It's up almost 5%. So the stock's currently trading. I mean, take a small bullish position. And hold it for the long term. I think at 12 months, this could easily be a $12 plus stock inside of a year, depending upon how we continue to roll. But these are major catalysts that we're starting to see, and you can see from the 5-day. I mean, it's absolutely moving up. I think this news broke around mid last week, and so yeah, it's definitely awesome, and I think we're going to see even more movement. I mean, look, the stock moved 24% in the last 5 days, so. Jump on this at 647. This is still pretty cheap as far as what the cost per unit is per stock, and I think I'm absolutely going to take a stand in this as well, and going to pick up some additional shares. All right, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you down the road. Thanks, bye.